I mean, he danced like Baryshnikov, and now he's a cripple.
And how quickly it happened. I mean, within a year, it was just, you know, all of a sudden he could no longer dance or barely walk.
So Phineas needs to have major double hip replacement surgery in just 5 days. I guess our life is riding on
Phineas
this.
is alone in the system.
He's really scared.
But this is the hardest thing that he's ever had to face.
Well, dance for me is very spiritual. It's kind of like my communion with God. And these days I don't have that ability, which is very difficult because I feel like I've lost this relationship that I've had for so long. I can't really explain.
I'm anticipating we're going to see a guy who's in his 40s, who's probably walking around like he's in his late 80s. I mean, as I was talking to Phineas, something was bothering me. It just didn't make any sense that he had so much hip damage just from dancing on Broadway alone.
Basically, I had been having some issues in terms of my health and did not know what it meant. When I actually went to this doctor, he asked me if I'd ever been, given the AIDS test or the HIV test. And I said no, I was married, and my wife was actually given the test because she's French, and I didn't think that I needed to. And she ended up being negative. So I said, yeah, sure, we can do the test. I remember it was on a 2-show day, it was on a Saturday, and I couldn't do the first show, and I remembered calling, and my wife was actually in the show as well. And I called up the theater and I said, I need to speak to my wife, can you send her outside? And she came into the taxi cab, and at that moment I told her that I was HIV positive. It was the hardest couple of weeks of our lives. It was something that, still was just like, okay, so if that's the reality, what is my life going to be? How am I going to recover from this?
But things got worse for Phineas. His marriage crumbled. His HIV actually turned into full-blown AIDS. He was forced to start taking radical medications that actually saved his life, but wound up ultimately destroying the blood vessels in his hips. He actually was crippled. Without this surgery, he may not be able to walk ever again. I'm just reflecting on how much he's actually been able to accomplish from where he came from. Just learning more about him, all he had to overcome to get to where he is. And from the time he was just an overweight kid of 9 years old, nobody believed he could be a dancer. I don't think I'd be as empathetic if I'd just known he was just given these opportunities and now they're being taken away. But to have worked so hard from when you're a kid, to have it then taken away, I think that's what makes it more difficult for me. I think I connect more with that.
Phineas has an amazing spirit and passion. He was fabulous. He was a fabulous choreographer. He was a fabulous teacher. He was a fabulous dancer. I mean, there was nothing he couldn't do physically.
These are dancers and friends, and we're rehearsing for a presentation of The Alchemist. You guys, I just wanted to say thank you. I just want you to always remember that what you do is so special. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
For Phineas, I get very sad when I watch him watching. Unfortunately, some people have to sustain great loss to really cherish life. But not everyone really lives their life that way. They just go to work and they balance the checkbook every month. How's it going, guys?
How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Grandma, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, I'm okay.
How are you? Good.
Nice to see you
Nice to
again.
see you so early in the morning.
I know.
And I'm going to be there in the operating room the whole time with him, okay? So we'll watch and everything, yeah. Just to be there for sort of support for him. It's always frightening going into the operating room. Even for someone like Phineas, who's such a strong character.
Yes.
He wants to show that he's, strong for all of you. He doesn't want you to feel frightened, but deep down inside, he's got some fears, okay?
The words that I actually wrote have this very deep meaning to me all of a sudden. As I say the words to myself, I realize that it's my own journey, and when he says, I'm not afraid at all of where this boat may sail, it just really brings up the emotions of my journey, of what I'm getting ready to go through.
Wonderful stuff. You ready? Yeah, I sure am. I got your little card here. This is for you before you go in. You can read that before you go in.
This is gonna make me cry.
No, it's not. Living might mean taking chances, but they're worth taking. And when you get the chance to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance.
I hope you dance.
You're gonna do great.
Okay, Finn.
Okay.
You ready to go?
Yes.
Surgery's over now, but the struggle has just begun.
Hey, Phineas, you're in recovery. Surgery's over. Can you open your eyes?
There you go.
There.
Good.
Can you see me? Hi there.
How do you feel?
No baking.
How much what, Phineas?
No baking.
I don't understand what you're saying.
No baking.
No banging? Oh, there was a lot of banging.
Yeah.
There was a lot of banging, a lot of hammers being used in there. I'll show you pictures of your old hip. They didn't look too good.
No.
No. Phineas has had an amazing struggle up to this point. I mean, the big question now is, does he have the strength to take his life back?
Wow, it's beautiful.
So after all the struggles in the hospital, Phineas was forced to realize that his road to recovery was not just going to be based on his strength alone, but it was going to take patience. Every day we see a lot of pain and suffering, and it's very easy to lose your faith. I mean, you lose your faith in mankind, you lose your faith in humanity, you lose your faith in medicine. But then you come across a patient like Phineas, and he renews that faith, reminded of the goodness that you can bring into someone else's life. You're reminded what it means to be a doctor.